Hello and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And there's a lot to talk about. Let's start with the news. Yes.
Yeah.
Bring the trailer. We have to be careful about talking about this. This is the Cars and Bids podcast. We run a competing business to Bring the Trailer. Mm-hmm. And Bring the Trailer over the weekend, last week, God knows when, they ran an AI car for auction. And it was a Cadillac DeVille. Okay. And it was the good DeVille, the one we all liked. You like the next gen? There were elements of this one, the next gen, in this one, if you actually go through the photos. Some of the photos were. So anyway, they ran this car, and it turned out it was a little AI. And some of the stuff in the auction, like for instance, there's two shifters here. Interestingly, they're completely different. How do you think you drive a dual shifter, AI-generated dual shifter DeVille?
I was just, there's a Pathfinder over there, and there's a transfer case and a manual shifter, and they look similar.
Yes.
Interesting.
This is a DeVille with a
column-mounted transfer case.
We always lamented the fact that this DeVille was front-wheel drive when it should have been rear-wheel drive.
They fixed that.
This fixes a four-wheel drive.
Right, and so when you're off-roading, you get stuck in a mess, you just go...
You put it in low range.
That's right.
What else we got, these pictures?
Yeah, so if that one, of course, this is the one that really...
Rare option on this DeVille, cobblestone floor mats. Now, go to the auction. Do you have the auction pulled up?
Yes, of course.
Go back to the auction. Click on just some of the, like this picture of the car. I was looking at it and I'm like, this has the partial LED tails from the next gen DeVille. Like these wheels are like generic, but they're from a LeSabre kinda. They're not DeVille ones. It really wasn't great. So this obviously generated an enormous amount of controversy, and I invite you to read here's front and rear cobblestone floor mats.
Right, and in some pictures they're there, and in others they're not.
Now,
AI, man.
It's easy to sit here and be critical of Bring the Trailer for focusing on volume too much, for not being as fastidious as they once were. We can talk about a lot of this stuff.
Can I make a couple of points that I actually care about?
No, I want to say, in all seriousness, someday this will happen to Carson Benz. Randy's up there right now going, I'm going to submit an AI Honda Prelude to Carson Benz right now and get
we'll catch it. It's an interesting situation, right? Obviously, AI is going to be a problem for any auction site because people want to make their photo a little bit better, or they don't know how to edit, or they don't know how to take good photos. So like, okay, let me just run it through AI and do this.
And I'm sure people have done it for cars that we've sold, and maybe even we haven't caught.
And if you're careful about it, if you're not changing something substantive about the car, the same way that when you're a photographer and you're editing the photo, you might be tweaking lighting, but you're not like airbrushing out flaws, right? Like AI, you have to be really careful with how you're prompting it, what your output is. In my mind, we as an auction site can do a couple of things to prevent that. First, we can make really clear, as we already do, to sellers like, hey, don't do this. It's not like, don't use AI. It will not be a good outcome. But the other thing is that we have purposely built a process that involves a lot of people looking at every single listing and working one-on-one with the seller. Like when you submit a car to Cars and Bids, we have a team of actual humans that are talking to you. That you get assigned an auction manager who's then working with you throughout the process, and they're actually truly looking at every single picture.
Your implication is that over at Bring the Trailer, they're not doing that. You think they're just like boom, boom. I'll tell you what happened here.
I think
you want to know what happened? I'll tell you what happened.
There's a lot of templating.
This is an $8,000 used car. And Bring the Trailer is kind of more into the volume side of things. Even though they have the flashy big cars, there's a lot of this volume. And the $8,000 car comes in and like, just boom, get it up. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that has hit me is that if you're selling a non-zillion-dollar supercar, we put a lot more energy and effort into those.
And we really do have people that are, like, your auction manager is going to look at every photo you upload. The person that writes the listing, that is an expert at cars, at knowing cars, that cares about cars, that's doing this, sure, for money, but because they love cars, is going to look at the photos too. Will something get by a group of people? Probably, and I'm sure that there have been things, maybe not to this level of egregiousnness, but like I'm sure there have been mistakes that get by people because humans are humans and people make mistakes.
I do like to think that whether someone who's looking at this as a car enthusiast or not, when you see cobblestone,
you notice something
something ain't right, you know.
Or if you see next generation DeVille taillights, you're like, that's not right.
Even too much.
Everything isn't right. I mean, even this picture.
Well, even like the text on the license plate frame is incorrect. Like
It's pretty bad. I will say, obviously, this happened because they are not maybe as looking as closely as we are. It's a luxury that we have. We're smaller. We are able to,
and we've made a conscious decision.
We are very focused on making sure that stuff goes up right. With that said, one thing that this does raise beyond the ridiculousness of this auction: what stops someone from AIing out a dent? That is hard to spot. It's easy to spot 2 column shifters and cobblestone floor mats, or it should be easy. What happens though? Seriously, like what happens for a dent, or what happens for a bent wheel, or you know what I'm saying? Like that stuff is hard.
It is hard, and I think as AI gets even better, this will only become a larger problem.
Yeah, right now maybe it's not so hard.
I think that one of the great benefits is also having the videos. It's like it's harder to do it in that, and when AI does videos, it's just so blatantly obvious right now. It won't always be like that, though. So, I mean, but the beauty is we have a very talented tech team who I'm sure will figure out solutions around this too, and we'll remain vigilant on it as well.
It's very much whack-a-mole, right? Like anytime we talk a lot with our team, the writers and editors, like these are some signs you can look for in photos right now. A month from now, that might be different. So there's certainly some amount of whack-a-mole, but we have a lot of people involved, and we are also vetting sellers and kind of make sure that are they actually engaged? Are they being transparent and forthcoming with information? And then you have a bunch of people in the comments that are looking through every photo with additional detail, with additional scrutiny, on top of what our team of humans has done.
I wouldn't be at all surprised as we sit here laughing at this.
No, it's
if in a year they're laughing at us for something that do they have a podcast over there at Bring the Trailer? Technically, what does that mean?
Yes, they do.
If they're laughing at, this is a possibility. Now, one other interesting thing, if you think about it, in real estate, it's commonplace. It's just accepted. If you go on any real estate listing, there's AI.
It got me on that view with the 250 GTO, which of course I was just an idiot, but it also got me.
It's like pretty commonplace, and so the seller may not have even been thinking, "Oh, this is so bad. Like I want to make this car. I want to present it in a nicer setting," which isn't a terrible idea, but it does add some interesting complexity to the whole thing. I agree the videos are helpful. Driving video, walk around video, much harder to fake at this stage with AI, and I think it'll be years before.
And when you are doing 50, 100 more photos, likely there's some angle where that didn't get caught by AI, where AI didn't filter that out.
Yeah, how many photos is this?
Fair enough. But it will be
56.
Inevitably, this is going to be a problem for everybody. There's no world with where AI is where it's not a problem for everybody. But what we can do is be more forthright, be really vigilant, and then be really responsive. I mean, frankly, from an auction operation standpoint, the initial response in this auction from Bring the Trailer was, we're going to go ask the seller for more photos. And maybe that's not going to help you that much, right?
They did cancel the auction and there was a ton of flack in the comments, which they got in there and personally replied to, which is the classy and correct way to do it. And it's what I would do if faced with the same circumstance here. And as we sit here throwing stones in our glass house, one day one of those stones will break our walls and or windows. I think that's what that analogy means.
While we're throwing cobblestones.
Someday Randy's going to call me and be like, ha, there wasn't actually a Via Cross. That was all AI. I gotcha.
My summary of this is it's going to be a problem for everybody. We're going to be as vigilant and as human focused and as make sure that there's real people with eyeballs that care. And that's going to be the most that we can do. But I also think
we had AI? I remember one time a seller, right when a car was about to go live, a seller told us that it crashed. I guess he had probably sold it somewhere else. Remember this?
I do.
And we said, can we see a picture? We didn't really buy it.
Oh, yeah.
And the crash, he AI'd up a crash. It was so obviously BS.
It was a photo from the photo set. It's like, if you're going to do it,
now had access,
at least go outside.
He had already set the photo set in uncrashed.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. People are going to use it.
That's
part of the problem, too. People don't understand. People are nuts. People are nuts. Look at him.
Yeah, look at me. Look at him. Look at you.
Yeah. But you know what? We're nuts, but we are transparent sellers.
Oh, that's cute. All right, let's move on to the next news story.
All right, next news story.
Oh, yeah. Yes, some Ferraris sold. That car, by the way, is the ugliest car I've ever seen in my life.
The Ferrari 360 in yellow.
I mean, there are a couple of them in contention here.
I don't mind the 599.
You don't mind that?
No, dude. I think it looks all right. But the red headlights on. Okay, let me tell you the story. Meekum, which is a different auction.
I know. I love the start to the podcast.
Barrett Jackson is happening right now. Get off Cars and Bids. I try to say one thing a week that makes Sean upset with me during the pod because he can't do anything.
You're at like 3 for me today.
Filippo's really sweating over here.
So, Mecum, which is another auction business, and a lesser one, they...
All right. I mean, at least there's marketing in this.
Yeah, cars and
like
Benz. They sold a couple of weeks ago, last week, I don't know, all these Ferraris, and they had been ordered by this fellow Bachman who died and never drove them. And I think he didn't want to drive them because they were all horrible.
They're embarrassing.
They had all been optioned in a way that was not tasteful, is what I would say. The 360 CS is absolutely the worst. This is an SA Aperta.
Yes.
Jeez. So, but these cars were really special because they were undriven cars. They had 0 miles on them. They were, almost all of them were the last of the set, like the last 599 GTO, the last 812, etc. And then they were all also like incredibly high window sticker cars because every box had been checked in a crazy way. Yeah. And so they all got auctioned at once and they all sold for unbelievable amounts of money. Like that 360 sold for $40 billion.
Just about.
Kind of. It felt like that. But I don't know. I understand the desire to have very low mileage examples of very special cars. I understand the desire to have unique specs. When they are this atrocious, though, it is hard to believe that those cars brought the numbers that they did.
I would drive that 599.
I would not.
I would drive it hard, too. And every time you made fun of me, I would be like... You know what I mean?
Well, also from the inside, you can still see.
No, the inside. Honestly,
inside.
A lot of these cars, the insides were worse.
Yep.
That 360, I'm telling you, is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know. There's a lot of green on that asset.
I do think something about this, though. I think it exemplifies a couple of things we've talked about for a long time. One, specific to the Ferrari market. They realize it's more market reporting.
That money can't buy you taste.
Well, that is a fact, and this is proof. But it's more that I think that the 250 GTO, which also sold at the same auction, sold for a number way lower than everybody was expecting. And these all sold for way higher than everybody was expecting. I do wonder if it starts to indicate that there's a shift in the market away from those cars from the blue chip cars from the 1960s, that this is now what people want, the modern limited edition Ferraris.
David Lee bought that 250 GTO for 38 mil.
Yeah.
Now, it was a right-hand drive car with a non-original engine.
Right.
And in the 250 GTO community, of which I'm a part, we view that as kind of second rate. No, just kidding. David is legit. Now, but you make a point because the Enzo in this collection, which was also an undriven one of one thing, sold for 11 million.
Yeah. Which
seems strong to me because Enzo's a couple of years ago were 3.5.
Some appreciation.
Yeah. It's significant appreciation. You screwed up.
I did.
Instead of buying a home and living, you should have put all of your assets into buying an Enzo.
And I could have gotten some portion of the way there.
And that F50 that when we saw like in Monterey last year, that sold for 5.5, I think.
Something crazy.
And their one sold for over 3 times that. It just like, it doesn't make sense at all to anybody.
Well, I don't know. These are one of one things. It's like that white collection, that Porsche white collection, which was sold by RM, by the way. We're going to hit all the auction sites today.
Don't worry, Gooding, we'll get there.
Folks, the Hemmings, they still got one?
Yeah.
They're still doing that?
You forgot Bonhams.
Is Hemmings really still?
You also forgot about Broad Arrow. We can keep going, man.
Go to Cars and Bids, though. Don't go to any of these.
You want to go international? We can go there, too.
We're better. The Porsche white collection, remember when those sold for crazy money?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, the whole thing's crazy.
I know, but these were just such a jump in what feels like a really short period of time. I just wonder, like, the ultra high-end, speaking about Ferrari specifically, the ultra high-end stuff is worth a ton of money already. That's why we've seen an appreciation for the next level of thing, which was the limited edition V12 cars, and then the limited edition V8s below that. And this is indicative of all of those cars, just like really
I'm going to say one thing that you mentioned before, that others have mentioned. At these physical collector car auctions, things can be a little fishy. Not going to go any further than that. Not saying that's what happened here.
Definitely,
but I've heard some stories.
That definitely,
and I do know that Mecum definitely wants to make. I mean, they want to break into the space because the other auction houses do sell these cars, and Mecum is known for going habita, and selling, tea buckets. But they're not known for selling these sorts of cars. So it was a really interesting thing to witness.
I really thought you were going to make a point about like older cars in general being less appreciated, but there were 2 records for 69 Camaros.
Well,
a Baldwin Notion LS7 brought 1.1 million, and a Yenko prototype brought 1.8.
Damn, boomers are still paying 1.8 for Yenko.
But apparently
for
not
Yenko
for,
67 Camaro.
Which either David Lee got a hell of a deal on his GTO, or the vintage Ferrari market is.
Might be true.
I don't understand that hell of a deal thing. This was about the price that everybody was saying it would sell for. It was a right-hand drive car with a non-original engine. The last GTO that sold for only a little more than this. I don't. It seemed to me to be about the number.
Auction estimates had it higher than that, though. Everybody, I think they were calling for 55. I think was the number.
Well, by who? Like by people like us who are idiots, or by the auction house itself? I mean, the seller cut it loose, so.
Which, yeah, it's the whole thing.
I will say the thing that hit me when I'm watching this, and I'm watching an 812 McDonald's sell for $60 billion. You know what car's undervalued? Carrera GT. Filippo?
Let's move on to the next.
Who knows? It's Scottsdale car. Maybe one will sell for $12 million.
Carrera really GT is I drove it here today. It was the greatest experience of my life. Still the greatest driving car ever made. And it's an absolute bargain when that car sells for 1.7 and looks like an abomination.
It doesn't just look like one. Straight up is one. Do you think Ferrari said no to any of his ideas?
Clearly not.
No.
I wonder.
Is this the moderated version?
No, dude, let me tell you something. In today's world, Koenigsegg and Pagani have set the standard for being willing to say yes to any horrible idea that their new money, no taste, under indictment buyer is willing to offer. I'm not screwing around. Like I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Like every new Pagani and Koenigsegg buyer is sketch, right? They all are.
Are we also going to talk about Carrera GT?
We can talk about those. It's the same kind of thing.
True.
Well, but that's part of what this is.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so Ferrari and Porsche now with Sonderwurst, like they're sitting here looking at this. Carrera GTs were all silver basically. And they're sitting here like, okay, if Pagani is willing to say yes to any tasteless idiot who got money yesterday and has no clue what looks good, but just wants to spend more money, then Porsche's got to be like, yeah, you want to put stripes on your Carrera GT and we'll pay $1 million for it?
Yeah,
we'll do that for you. No problem.
I want to be clear to all those tasteless idiots. We still do want you to sell your cars and bids.
Sell your tasteless Wyras on cars and bids, not any of the other auctions. There are no other auctions. All the other stuff we talked about earlier, figments of the imagination.
Wrong, lies, none of it's real. But yeah, this is just I do think that's odd though. Like I don't know, my uncle had some tailor-made Ferraris built for him, and they fought him like crazy on stuff. Yet they're willing to do that.
But don't you wonder
in
if
03,
originally he wanted something worse?
No, he didn't. It was all very tasteful stuff. I can.
No, not your.
This.
The Bachman gentleman.
Maybe I don't know.
It's interesting. It's interesting that all these cars existed. It's boy is it interesting that someone paid all this money for them, but. They're cool, and someone did, and real money exchanged hands, and now we have to sit back and remember that the greatest deal in the market is the Carrera GT. Next slide. Yes, the Carrera GT. No, I'm kidding.
So that's an Acura NSX. Very exciting news for our auction site, Cars and Bids. Acura has said that they're selling the Tony Stark NSX from that Marvel movie that I've never seen.
Avengers.
Sure. On Cars and Bids. It is a actually very cool prototype. I saw it in person at Road Atlanta a few months ago. It is a 1997, 1991 NSX.
It's
that's been rebodied to look like the NA.
The newest one, but it's a convertible. Okay, look, here's the deal. It was in the Avengers. Robert Downey Jr. drove it, and he also drove it to the premiere.
Did he? That's cool.
Under the skin, apparently, I haven't been around the car.
The interior is NSX.
But I am told that it is an older NSX made to look like a newer one. It is a convertible. They're going to auction on Cars and Bids. I am going to drive this car.
I know, it's cool.
I love one-offs. I love movie cars. I love concept cars. I am incredibly excited. I don't really get that excited for a lot of stuff. When you come around my house, I do.
Aww.
But this, I can't wait. I can't wait. We're going to sell this on Cars and Bids. This is just auction
for charity
today.
By the way.
For charity. The whole thing, the whole amount?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's my understanding. I will say it has miles. If you look at the Odo in some of the pictures or in person, it has 100-something thousand miles.
Probably because they bought an NSX.
I know, but it's so cool. Also, they should have done an NSX convertible. NC1, is that what that?
I'll tell you
NA3?
this. I'll tell you this.
What's the generation?
I'll bet you they were thinking about doing a convertible, and sales didn't allow it. Whenever there's a special sports car where they don't go convertible, it's either because sales didn't justify it, which is the case of the 054 GT and others. This car too.
GTX1 begs to differ.
Or it's a Dodge Challenger where we don't know why they didn't do it. We're still trying to figure it out.
I am very excited to watch your review of it and see what they changed besides the exterior And like it'll be such a cool movie car to have.
You know
at
what?
auction.
Another thing that this car has that you probably don't realize: cobblestone floor mats.
Maybe, yeah.
Cobblestone floor
Not
mats.
AI.
Robert Andrew drove to the premiere. Interesting.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to drive.
he can
I
drive
can't
a
wait to
stick.
talk to say. I don't know when we're gonna. Robert Downey Jr. is a G, dude. He can drive whatever he needs. He can drive a forklift if he had to. I don't know when the auction is. It's sometime.
We're still working out a specific timing. Sometimes late.
You're gonna be able to buy this, but I may myself buy it. You think it's titleable? It's got a VIN.
No.
I'm gonna title it. Move on to the next news.
That's not going to happen.
The BYD seal.
The
you gonna talk about
BYD, you, sir, are going to talk about how Canada has massively lowered tariffs on Chinese.
Okay, you remember how last week we talked about how nobody wants Chinese cars in America, and there's some political stuff there going on. Well, guess what? Canada, which the first and last letters are the same as China, so there's something there. Also, California
And Cambodia.
Ooh, Canada has
in Cambodia.
decided to allow the Chinese EVs to arrive. Previously, Canada had some massive tariff on Chinese cars
Just
like we did.
do,
It was like 100% or 200%, something insane. But they decided to allow... Now, the weird thing is that they're allowing Chinese cars to come into Canada, tariffed at 6.1%, which is pretty low for vehicles. Apparently, that's Canada's most favored nation tariff rate. So that's just sort of a normal tariff rate. But they're limiting the number. It's only 49,000 cars will be able to come into the country at that rate. And then presumably after that, the tariff rate goes back up to what it was before, which is sort of similar to policies that Trump has negotiated. Like with the UK, there's a similar policy in the United States and the UK. Some number of cars is tariffed at a certain rate, and then higher than that, it's a lot more. So it's not going to be like an onslaught to the Canadian market. But there will be Chinese cars sold in Canada. There's already Chinese cars sold in Mexico. We see them every day.
We do.
I mentioned a couple weeks ago on the podcast how I saw an MG that reminded me of my grandpappy's.
Of course.
It was a 3-row electric SUV.
Just like he used to drive.
just like grandpappy and grandma would go down, get in the car, go down a country lane, you know? He would say, Dolores, he'd say, get into the 3-row electric SUV with me.
But I will say, we often equate the Chinese cars with EVs. There are non-EV cars sold in China, and that presumably are sold outside of China by Chinese manufacturers. But really, this is like an EV story, fundamentally. That's where China's grown the most. I will say, global EV sales were up 20% last year. 20.7 million EVs were sold in China and Europe. They skyrocketed. The percent in the US, percent went down. I have a stat for you. In 2024, BYD, maker of the seal, had 284 dealerships in Europe. By the end of this year, by the end of 2026, they're targeting having 2,000.
What does it take to become a BYD dealership in Greece, though? Like, what does it honestly take? Like
approximately 100 square feet of space.
That's about a fax machine.
But nevertheless, clearly they're going after massive expansion because they know they need to expand outside of China. Canada presumably will be an interesting market for them, even if they're capped on how many they can sell.
Right.
And if you're the Canadian government, you're seeing a lot of tensions with the U.S., which is slightly weird for historically a very peaceful border with a lot of trade. And also you have a populace that is pretty upset by rising costs, by inflation, by being priced out of things. And here's your opportunity to...
Those last two things are really important to mention.
Yes.
Canada, and this is something I've been talking about on this pod forever, which is that as we hold the world off from electric cars, we are going to fall behind because the rest of the world wants to buy electric cars. And the other, and this is a tariff story too, in the same way. Like if you start these trade wars, it's great to be able to do that. You can be number one trade guy, tradey Traderson, Trump himself, if you're the only one producing these goods. But Canada looks at this and says, maybe USA isn't as much of a friend as they used to be. Maybe USA is sort of a similar actor to China. Maybe USA is as trustable as China. Some European countries are certainly saying that right now after the whole Greenland situation. And so then they start to open up to China. And I guarantee you the 49,000 cars that they're allowing now becomes 69,000 in 2 years and 99,000 after that. And the next thing you know, Justin Trudeau is driving around in a BYD Walrus.
With Katy Perry.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry?
Apparently.
What a
Pretty amazing.
bizarre.
It's bizarre.
The global market has very much said that EVs in general are something they're very into. China EV sales last year were up 17%. Europe was up 33%. The rest of the world, if you remove the US and Europe and China, was up 48%.
Wow.
So the US is really the only detractor.
And we're still doing V8s, and we will talk about on the pod how much we love that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we as a auto manufacturing nation are being harmed by all
And
that.
by the way, this connects to China and that the Chinese automakers are the ones making the most competitive global EVs.
Totally.
And that ends up mattering.
In 10 years, we're going to look back at these years and say we made a mistake. We are. We just are. By not continuing to subsidize electric vehicle manufacturing and development in the United States. The EVs are going to come in the rest of the world. We're going to be behind. Eventually, we're going to have to adopt it. And by then, our American automakers will not be ready for battle because everybody continues to allow China in. And more they want to allow China in because they don't even trust the United States. Canada, if a year or 2 years ago, if we had stepped in and said, you will not, Canada would have been like, okay, fine. We're going to align with our great friend, the United States.
Which they had done until last week.
It's an interesting situation. Give us our next news story, which is related, right? Yes, it is related.
The Volvo EX60.
Yep.
We're excited.
Are we?
Yeah, of course.
I'll let you take this one.
I'm going to give the quick thing. It's another electric Volvo. It looks pretty good, as most Volvos do. It's going to be able to be ordered this spring.
Yep.
Still revealing final pricing, somewhere between $55,000 and $70,000.
Okay, but hit us with the big news.
There will be a version that has 670 horsepower.
670
in a
horsepower.
Volvo.
670 horsepower.
In a Volvo. The most powerful Volvo to this point has got to be like the T8, all of them, which has 400 something.
That is quite a leap.
Electric cars,
Dude, this has, how much is that? 610?
Yeah.
There's now a mid-size. This isn't even the full size. God only knows. The full-size Volvo crossover has 1,100 horsepower.
It will soon.
Is there just does it need it?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
are you
man.
kidding? My wife had one of these non-electric years ago, and she would always come in from the store, from the shops. And she would always say to me, we only have 350 horsepower. I need 670.
It all feels like, it just feels ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I guess in performance cars, I understand the point of having a lot of power. I just think it's kind
free.
of just a marketable gimmick. And
It's
like,
free and
it's free.
marketable.
Yeah. And that's the only reason it's like
and
this.
also, others are doing it.
Others are doing
And
it,
so-
but I
When others do it, you have to do it. You know what I mean?
like, if you have that level of acceleration, like, are safety mandates like kind of up to date with what's going to happen if you
Also, Volvo
accelerate with a missile down the road?
Volvo globally has speed limiters. So you can't drive a Volvo more than 112 miles per hour.
No, but you can do 0 to 60 in 2.5
You can go from
seconds.
0 to 112 very quickly, but then you're capped.
One of the things I've learned also about EVs, because I encounter them on the roads, and they're always afraid to, they always want to like flex their muscle, but they're always afraid to lose the range. Like no one's actually going to floor it in one.
Right.
Like the Tesla people are like, oh, I'm all fast, but I charge this at a public charger, and every
Yeah.
minute I sit there so I'm actually not going to go fast. That happens a lot.
I got stuff to do today.
Yeah.
I would like to share a couple of other things. By the way, the most powerful one, apparently 3.8 seconds 0 to 60.
Wait, you're going to share more stuff about the EX60? We don't
Yeah,
need
because
any
I
more
want
EX60
you to
information.
explain
I'm
to
good.
me their powertrain levels.
Yeah, I know. They're called
There's
like the P6.
the P10, and the P12.
Volvo lost me when they went to B, which I never understood.
Last year, yeah.
But what did that mean?
I think it was intended to be that they were all mild hybrid at that point.
Okay, and of course B is the internationally renowned
For
letter
mild
for mild
hybrid.
hybrid.
Right.
My mistake. Move on to the next news story. I won't talk about this anymore.
Can we talk about
here's
V8s
the
instead?
car.
So this is real?
This is real. Ford has announced the Mustang Dark Horse SC,
Yep.
which is a 5.2 liter supercharged V8.
Yep.
It's basically the new GT500,
Yep.
just without the Shelby name. They haven't announced that many specifics yet, right? So we're kind of trying to infer between where the regular Dark Horse is and where the GTD is, and assuming they won't want to go too close to the GTD.
Doesn't the GTD have the same 5 supercharged V8, 5.2 liter supercharged V8? Doesn't it?
Yep.
So what?
But we don't. So we suspect that the GTD has 815 horsepower. I would expect this to have less by some amount.
What does a regular Dark Horse have? It's a lot, right?
Not enough.
Dark Horse has 500. So you think it'll be between 500
It'll
and
be like
815?
I mean, the old GT500 had 700 something.
Yeah, it was some crazy number.
So it'll be I suspect slightly more than that, but less than.
Yeah, it had 760 and 625
You're
pound
getting
feet of
into
torque.
GTD territory.
But with that, I bet the differentiator will be a little bit of power than that crazy suspension and
Yeah.
the wide body and some of the other.
And
The fact that it's made in Canada.
excuse me, we don't talk about that. All Mustangs are American. The window into the suspension.
Yeah, correct.
Not just the suspension, the window into the suspension. Do you understand that?
Yep. Does the GTD have a dual clutch 7-speed? It does, right? Same transmission then?
Some sort of tip situation.
Yeah, same transmission then. As the old GT500 had too.
This
That'd
is
be
cool as hell.
It's very
so cool.
Especially because we've all been missing. I will say, I'm still kind of missing the GT350. I guess that's the dark horse itself.
I guess. Which, to be fair, it has the power of it.
It has the power, but the GT350 was this like special little nugget.
Yeah,
Well, it
was.
had that. That Tremec 6-speed felt so good, and that flat plane crank Voodoo engine, not reliable, I know, but like the sound was just
Everything about it was great, and it was special. And you see them on the road, it's special.
Still,
and this is going to be like that,
This
but
is gonna
like
be
this is like the GT500. Yeah. Where's my dark horse SC? But maybe like a lighter horse, or like a dark like
a light horse SC?
Yeah, like a light horse SC, or like a dark like or like a dark capybara. Like, you know what I'm saying? Horse-like but smaller. You know what I mean?
Because I think horse like capybara is the creature.
Well, they both have like long heads and they're on 4 legs. Like, give me something else. Dog, like a Great Dane. Let's call it the Mustang Great Dane and give me like 525 horsepower. But like, give me a nice live chassis and a great transmission. I'm not wrong about this. I may be saying it weirdly, but I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong about that.
Yeah, your way to get there is bizarre, but I understand your point.
Especially because the GT350 was popular, remains popular on the used market. Enthusiasts loved it, and it's just gone. And I guess Dark Horse was their attempt to kind of, but it's not the same.
It's not the same
to me.
at all.
Feels like a trim level as opposed to like a Shelby variant.
Right, and it seems like Ford's no longer working with Shelby, period, which happened at some point, but I don't remember
What
when.
a shame.
That is, Carroll would be sad. Actually, no, he wouldn't. He'd be fine with it.
But it will be incredible power for presumably somewhere in the low $100,000 range.
That's what you think it's going to cost? Aren't GTDs like 300 something?
Yeah, but GT500s were around there. We're in the low hundreds.
Man, this is going to be interesting. So the GTD is going to be specifically focused at like a very specific buyer and price point.
Well, I mean, wasn't it
Yeah.
always? I mean, look at it, you know.
Plus, it's got the window into the system.
The last GT500
Right.
with options were crossing 6 figures, and on the secondary market, they're in the high, like 80 to 100 range. So this will be a little bit above that.
I mean, it makes sense for this to be there. That Mustangs have always kind of been in that, 50 grand, 500 horsepower. Like that was always kind of the
GTD will certainly be their like standalone
halo, the
race
GT3
ready.
RS.
Right, if you will.
You know what the difference is, though? And I'm serious about this. In a GT3 RS, you do not have a window into the suspension. Also, they don't make the GT3 RS in Canada. Next news story.
Let's talk weeknights, especially if you're doing the whole work, gym, and maybe rest around in the garage thing, and suddenly you realize it's 9 o'clock and you haven't eaten. Grocery shopping takes forever, takeout is stupid expensive, and cooking for one somehow still creates a pile of dishes. That's where Every Plate actually makes a lot of sense. It's an affordable, low-stress way to cook real meals without overthinking it. Everything shows up pre-portioned, so you're not wasting food or eating leftovers for 4 straight days, and the meals are ready in about 30 minutes. The menu is solid, too. Comfort-forward stuff like crispy buffalo ranch chicken and caramelized onion smash burgers, plus their biggest menu yet. More chicken dishes, more veggie-forward options, more global flavors, and over 35 choices every single week. So you're not stuck rotating the same 3 meals forever. And it's cheap, cheaper than the grocery store and about half the price of takeout, and just straightforward pricing, no weird fees, no surprises. Try Every Plate and get $2.99 per meal on your first box plus free steak for a month. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use the code CARSSTEAK to claim your offer. That's code CARSSTEAK at everyplate.com/podcast to get $2.99 per meal on your first box plus free steak for a month. Offers vary by plan. 1 free 10-ounce serving of steak per box for 4 weeks with active subscription. Ditch dinner time dilemmas with Every Plate. Thank you for that. Stefan Winkleman.
Ah, yes. I was at the Lamborghini dealer today, and they have one of the desks of the sales folks has a little signed, those Lamborghini color swatches, like it's the shape of a Lamborghini.
He signed it?
He signed one of them.
Wow.
And I was thinking,
I met him at Quail, and I said that he is to Lamborghini what Luca de Montezemolo was to Ferrari.
And
he
it's
liked
true.
a lot, and he's also one of the most stylish CEOs in the world.
That's a lot of Brit.
and
But
it's
that's
true. And proof of that is the fact that
They have sold a record number of cars again.
Lamborghini sold the record number of cars.
Which is fascinating because the Temerian is not yet available to the public, correct?
That is true, but you know what the base model Lamborghini is?
The Urus?
The Urus.
Yeah,
And boy, did a lot of them. I was at the Lambo dealer today. There's 7 Uruses there in the showroom.
They do. I see those. When you think about it, you see them a lot.
There are a lot.
But it makes. I mean, but that is impressive. Like what did they sell the year prior? Does it?
Yeah. So this year they sold 10,747 cars, which I believe is up by a truly small number from the prior year, something like 47 cars from the prior year. I had this number in my mind, but then I forgot distracted by the bracelets.
I know the bracelets are quite a decision with the suit that he's wearing. The suit is so
But we
good. The
support it.
bracelets are. He's supporting a
German?
lot of different things.
Yeah, this is only
his name is
60
German.
cars more than the prior. But hey, an increase is an increase. And this is a new record for Lamborghini.
Well, it is legitimately impressive considering they're not selling the Temerario yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they are in Europe or in some
No,
markets already, but
I don't
Nah,
think
I don't
so.
think they're ready.
don't
I
think
haven't
so.
seen any reels of it. And
And you'll see reels of it crashing.
you
as soon
start to
as it's
see
out.
reels when cars go on sale.
That's how you
They're
know
in
it's real.
Europe.
It is a lot of
SO Monaco posts a picture.
I mean, the Urus had a facelift in 20.
Urus had a facey.
Their leading market was Europe, the Middle East, and Africa with 4,600 vehicles sold. America with 3,300.
Their leading market, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, one market. Yeah, well,
EMEA, man.
their leading
EMEA.
market was every single country but Mexico. And unfortunately, their second market, Mexico, finished second this year.
They group it into 3 categories.
They group it into 3 categories. There's Asia, which must include Australia. There's
usually,
the middle of the world, if you
Correct.
look at a Mercator projection.
Correct.
And then we are included with South America, and Latin America.
We're included with the Americas.
Great.
Yep.
Nothing like, the guy who oversees Europe and Africa gets credit for a sale, whether the car is sold in Brussels or Cape Town.
Yep. Apparently, by the way, orders for the Temerario is already about a full year of production. Is already ordered.
They told me at the dealer they've already got, it sounds like about a year spoken for already. And a lot of other hand raisers who want to see the car first.
Not a surprise.
No, but I will say it is pretty impressive they were able to outsell last year considering Urus is an old product. Revuelto is presumably supply constrained. They seem to be tremendously popular and exciting. And the new base cars in here. Next year, you're going to see some crazy Lamborghini sales.
I bet they will be at about 10,805.
No, the dealer told me that Temerario is coming in Q2, so it's going to be
Deliveries
here
are
in 2
starting in
months.
January in Europe right now.
Yeah, so it's coming.
I'm happy for Lamborghini, to be quite
same.
frank with you. I think it's really cool. I think the appreciation of their older cars shows that there's more interest in this brand, which it deserves. I'm happy. I'm happy they're making ridiculous cars.
Yeah. Also, the Volkswagen Group needed a win.
I think this is a big win in a relatively small segment. But
You know, Winkleman, I'm looking. He ran Alfa Romeo Germany, and the first thing he did, he was area manager for several European markets, and his first vehicle that he launched with that job was the 156, the Alfa 156.
Good vehicle.
And so he knows how to release a good product. You know what I'm saying?
We do love the 156.
Are you thinking about importing one?
I'm waiting for the 159.
Yeah.
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 And then also, no. should have been clear.
Do we have any other news stories? Hope to go.
Yes, a couple. So Audi released their livery for the new Formula One car. I'm very excited. As Audi's going to be competing in Formula One. Granted, this is kind of a name change of a team, but ultimately Audi themselves are competing.
What is it a name change from?
You don't know offhand that?
No, I know. I should know. It was Sauber who became them, I believe. So it was. But Nico Hülkenberg and Mattia Binotto, who was the former team principal of Ferrari, was axed and then eventually ended up here. So he's going to be leading that team. And Jonathan Wheatley, they both kind of revealed it was Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto. It was Stake Sauber F1 was the name of I forgot the name of the first sponsor. They revealed it in what was a very bizarre, it looked like, picture if people from Berlin made like a cathedral, this hedonistic cathedral. That's what it looked like where it was revealed. It was pretty crazy.
It was. I sent in the live
dark,
link.
Which I watched. And the 2 Formula One drivers came out wearing sweatpants, which was very interesting.
So Audi,
but this is just the color scheme.
Is Audi building the engines?
No.
Let me ask you a question.
I like that.
Let me ask you a question. Are we supposed to care?
No, we only care about Cadillac.
We do care about Cadillac.
But even Cadillac, do you know what engine who's supplying the engines for Cadillac?
All I know is that they're revealing their own livery during the Super Bowl, which is American.
Do you know who's supplying the engines for Cadillac?
Yeah,
You think it's Cadillac? You think they're putting a Blackwing V in the thing? No.
I bet
Who is
it's
it?
Hyundai.
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Oh.
Ferrari, Cadillac is developing engines, but they're not ready to actually create them until 29. That's how long it takes. Audi's not doing engines. Cadillac's not doing engines.
Ford is doing the engine for Red Bull, so like it's.
Although that was a whole thing.
That's a whole thing. But give it some time.
I'm upset about this because I was going to be a Formula One fan this year, in as much as I was planning to watch 1, maybe 2 laps, because I'm going to cheer on Cadillac, my hometown team. You know what's funny? This guy Mario Andretti.
Sure,
heard of him.
He turns out to be an American. Anyway. Well, you hear the name Mario Andretti, and you think to yourself, this can't possibly be a guy who lives in central Pennsylvania, but no, it is.
I want to be clear. He was born in Croatia.
Huh?
He was born in Croatia.
Really? Yeah. But he's like an American. Like when you talk to him, like when you, I've seen a lot of.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There is some debate within the Wikipedia page itself as to where he was born.
Show us the birth certificate.
Well, either way, he lives in central Pennsylvania now, and there is nothing more American than living in central Pennsylvania. Nothing.
He lives in central PA.
Yeah. I'm saying nothing.
I want to be clear to our viewers. He was born in what is now Croatia, but was the Kingdom of Italy.
Do you understand my point? Like if you
Italy was wild.
If you live in New York, if you live in some of these places, Seattle, you're probably doing some activities. If you live in central Pennsylvania,
you're doing some other activities.
You are but they're American.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Formula One. So
kind of depends on how you think.
This is really just the color scheme for the car. This is the time of year when all the teams start to release what the cars are going to look like. Ferrari has been very bizarre, and they say their slogan this year is "Built in the dark, driven in the light." To which Red Bull clapped back that they build their cars in the light and drive them there too. But there's a lot of silliness going on this time of year. But nonetheless, we will see these colors on the Formula One grid. I'm very excited.
Well, this thing looks cool as hell, but I'm still not very excited because I want them to be manufacturing the engines, not just the cars.
Actually,
to me, it's Audi, but they're just white labeling something else.
Give it time. This is a very complicated sport.
Here's what I want. I want production car engines in the cars, like in the era of my Carrera GT.
Well, luckily there are other classes where the cars look like the cars and have
but they're all 911s. They're all 911s.
No, there's watch some IMSA stuff. There's way more to it than that. It's not just 911s. There's McLarens, there's BMWs.
Can I ask you a question? Is that like Masano red and graphite gray, and like are they matching this to Audi colors?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, of course. What do you mean? Well, look at
double checking.
When you think of Audi, these are the colors you think of, right?
Yeah, but I want to make sure that I can personally go down and order a Q4 e-tron in that silver.
That scheme, maybe. Remember the original A-Class Hakkinen edition? Pull that up.
Okay, I remember.
The A-Class Hakkinen. Pull it up. Dude, I'm telling you. You're going to be disappointed that you don't know about this car.
I don't remember how it's spelled.
That'll do it.
That'll probably do
it. Put it and then go to images. Yeah,
there it is. I remember that.
Yup. Boom.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be like that.
Can you order a Q4 like this?
I hope so.
If Audi was smart.
Tell you, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure it doesn't drive great, but it does.
No. It's trash.
No. Anyway, that's Formula One. Very excited for the season to begin. Can't compare fast enough. Next news story. So this is Mate Rimat. So Mate Rimat's recently on Instagram posted a response to Matt Armstrong about the Bugatti repairs that are ongoing there. And he kind of laid out that...
Matt Armstrong, for those who don't know, Matt Armstrong fixes supercars, and he's bought a Bugatti of some variety. I can't tell them apart. Although I saw two today at the dealer. Holy crap.
That has structural damage.
It got hit
in
Florida, like they all do.
Yes.
And now Armstrong's trying to put it back together. He puts back together Lambos and stuff, does an amazing job, but he's met his match.
Right. But it's the CEO of Bugatti decided to make a video responding to this, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because in the video he talks about why the parts are so expensive. Because that's one thing that Matt brings up is how crazy the prices are.
You buy a Chirona, you don't expect it to be expensive to repair?
Well, he made some of the stuff is hard to understand, but it makes sense because it's bespoke to this car and to meet regulations and stuff. It's really hard to build this stuff. He also explained there are some parts that Matt says are shared with Audis and Volkswagens. It's sort of. According to Mate, it's the housing might be, but the internals of it are not. They're specific to the cars. Not sure exactly, but he also mentioned that he's an enthusiast and loves what Matt's doing, but as a CEO and how he's doing it, he can't condone it for safety reasons, which sounds like a legal thing to me.
Well, but it's also probably true.
It's probably true.
We all watch the Matt Armstrong videos, all of us. Have you watched them? He has
one,
this property in the UK that I look at and I just think, if I could sell Filippo for that property, I would.
I'm not worth enough, I'm sorry.
But we all watch the videos, apparently except for him, but all the rest of us. And we all think to ourselves, wow, this is cool. It's amazing to watch. might this be sketchy?
Well,
Would I drive this car?
his plan is
any
for future owners.
Yeah, any
It's-
salvage rebuilt car has some amount of sketchiness.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, let me tell you something. Stefan Eriksson, he was the guy who was Enzo split in two, right?
I believe that's right. Yeah.
When that car got rebuilt, salvage rebuilt, what they did was they built a new one.
Well, there are exceptions. And if Mate is just building a new one, fine.
Well, so according to Mate, they actually reached out and said that they would do the repairs for a certain number, a negotiated number, and that Matt Armstrong rejected it.
Well, the repairs it's probably $7 zillion.
Exactly.
You want to spend
Just
$7
build a new
zillion,
one.
or do you want to do it yourself and make YouTube rev, dude? Matt Armstrong's no fool. Man, he didn't get that property with the home gym by screwing around.
Right. He didn't have to sell a Filippo to get it. He
He didn't even have to sell
Matt
it.
Armstrong BMX. I will say, I love that we're talking about YouTuber drama. I assume we'll talk about Tavares next week.
It's not drama.
This
is real stuff.
If we
And
can get
want-
Zach Brown to clap back.
if you want drama, we can talk about Tavares every week. All right, let's move on to the Talk Cars segment,
We love
which
you,
is
Tavares,
brought to you by Cobblestone Floor Mats. Cobblestone Floor Mats. Get them at your local AutoZone. Does AutoZone sponsor us?
No. Home
Whoever
Depot.
sponsors us, get them there. All right. I want to talk about my 993 twin turbo.
Not here.
I got a Porsche, that red one.
Yeah.
Right. And I took it over to the shop there, Black Forest. It's a Porsche shop up here down the street.
They're great.
And I don't know anything about them, but I have friends who say they're great.
They're great.
So I took the car in there, and they called me and they said, "Hey, I took it in for a service, you know." And they called me and they said, "Hey, it's great. The car looks good. It needs $25,000 in servicing." in repairs and servicing. And you know what happened with that? I realized this is the greatest. It is the cheapest repair I've ever done because last week, 2 weeks ago, I announced on the pod that I'm back on cars.
Yeah, it was a good period.
After a $25,000 repair for the 993, I'm off cars again. So I was going to spend 40 grand to switch my Sequia into an LX700H Overtrail. Not doing it. So right there, I'm up 15 grand in this service. I should call them and say, hey, do more stuff. Then I was thinking about some other exotic car, which I don't want to talk about right now. I'm not doing that either. Even though I'm not doing it, I still don't want to talk about it. And that saved me like $300,000. So as far as I'm concerned, this $25,000 service saved me like almost $400,000. I really owe those folks a debt of gratitude.
992 Turbo S?
Under no circumstances will I be buying that vehicle.
I'm just guessing.
I had a
300K
992
price
Turbo
range.
S in the office the other day. It was lilac
I
in
like
color.
that. I like the color. I'm sorry that you're off cars. I really
Off
didn't.
cars.
I did enjoy the period that you were on cars.
It was
a
a great
fun
week.
period. It was really enjoyable.
It was a while. It was a pretty good run.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
He bought another car during that time. He bought the 993 Turbo when he got back
No,
on
this
cars.
was
No,
only during
no.
the last 2 week period where I was
Truly,
off
it was
cars again.
brief.
I am still
You had to
looking.
catch him at the right moment. You could have. We could have got him to buy a car had we
Yeah.
somehow found the right car in that day.
Totally. I am still seriously looking for a 2001 to 2002-ish E55 station wagon AMG with the third row. We're looking in Europe and Asia. I'm still interested in one of those, mainly because I can buy one of them for the cost of this 993
Right.
Turbo service.
Remember when you got the car and you were like,
Yeah.
I can't believe how much the prior owner put into this car in service.
Guy put in yeah.
Well, 25 grand
What
more.
needed more?
To be fair, your rule that you said very publicly is that you expect to pay about 10% of the purchase price to get the car to where you specifically
When
want
I
it.
buy a car, my rule of thumb is that it needs 10% of the purchase price in service.
Bam.
And I just assume that straight off the bat, and I factor it into my purchase price 100% of the time. The car behind me is the only exception my whole life so far.
Well,
Now,
it's needed less than 10%.
less than 10%.
To be fair, it's an expensive car.
It's an expensive car. And so when the shop called me and said, hey, you know, the valve cover gaskets are leaking, this and that, you know, you can do this stuff or you cannot. I'd probably have this 993 for 2-3 years. Why not just do it right off the bat and be able to enjoy a car that you don't have to worry about? I mean, and when you go to sell at a service like this, the Porsche people freak out about, oh my God, he put 25 grand in. Oh, this is how the Porsche people react when they see a bill like this.
Yeah, it's not quite that guy, that meme of this guy going
Right.
like this.
They get so excited. The guy clearly maintains he loves this car.
You know, it's so funny because
I'm going to overpay for it.
I was actually talking to our producer Nick, who's looking at cars currently, about like seeing lots of service work. And some people it makes them nervous because they're like, oh my God, this car is so unreliable. It tells you one of two things: either the car maybe is unreliable, or it tells you that you had a fastidious owner. I view it as the latter, personally.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on what the records show and what type of car it is.
Yes, and with frequency. If you see the same thing being replaced a bunch, something's wrong.
Yeah. Like the Nick Arnage records.
Oh my God.
I would just burn those if I were him. Like, it'd be better not to show them to
Burn
people.
them in the car and the whole car.
It's great kindling.
Phenomenal.
So
You know
it's
what you do?
effective.
You know what you do? You get a fireplace in the car. You put it right next to your cobblestone floor mats. You get right up there. You sit on your cobblestone floor mats with your big fireplace.
Got the
Wait, sorry, are the floor mats made of cobblestones?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
it's a-
they're a fire danger too.
Yeah, no, I think they're I think they're I don't know.
we're going for.
I don't know. Go over to bring the
That's what we're
trailer. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so that's my set. Off cars.
Off cars.
Back off cars, but I'll get the 993 back in a week or two. And you know what I think when I get it back after spending 25 grand, you know what I think? It's going to drive exactly the same.
Yep.
What do you got?
All right, I got a couple of announcements.
Oh,
First
wow.
of all, I'm going to be, when you're listening to this podcast, Friday night, I'm going to be in Scottsdale at our event with Avance at the warehouse. Come say hi if you have a ticket. It's a ticketed event. But if you have a ticket, come say hi, bring your cool car. We're excited to talk to you
If you don't
Just
have
wanna
a
be
ticket,
factual
you
about
meet
this.
him after the fact.
at that hot dog place.
What's it called? Mickey's?
It doesn't have hot dogs. It's all everything like that. All I know is that they only sell tacos.
Tostadas.
Sure. I'll be there regardless. But on Sunday, we're also doing an event with the Peterson. That is their England calling a distinguished British cruising event at the Peterson Museum. You can buy tickets by going to carsandbids.com/events and then clicking on that. We, as Cars and Bids, are going to have a Series 3 XKE that's going to be up for auction and also there at the event.
Is Nick bringing his SLR? It's British.
Nick Roshan from our podcast is going to be too busy bidding on cars at some other
No,
auctions.
not on Sunday.
I don't know. He's not going to bring the SLR.
Why not?
But we're going to bring the XK.
It's Brit. Are you denying that the SLR is British? Are you sitting here telling
Gordon
me that
Murray
it's
himself.
made in Britain? Gordon Murray.
It was built in
It's a
Woking.
British car.
Not the engine
This
or
is
the transmission,
problem.
but
People don't
not any of the
respect.
interior components or exterior components.
No, the car was Look, it's all about assembly. The factory workers who built that car were British. They were paid to build the car. They were British. They were paid by the British people in British pounds.
Is that a value add?
I'm telling you right now, this is the problem. Nobody respects the British Empire anymore. The sun never sets.
Regardless, we're going to have that event. Come say hi to a bunch of people from Cars and Bids and come check out the Series 3 XK that we have left.
What is the Coinbase NSX Cassette?
All right. As you've filmed a bunch of beautiful videos with them. Well, one beautiful video and one review with them. Well, we can be realistic here.
One beautiful video and one Doug video.
There is a cassette that Coinbase has made that is the soundtrack from the pretty video that you did with NSX. And it's on a cassette. And if you register at the link in the description below this podcast, you can be entered to win it. It's going to be autographed by you
There's only
and you
one
alone.
cassette?
No, the first some number of people would that
So wait,
enter
when you
this
say
one.
register to win,
All
what you
right,
mean
so-
is the
so
first
you-
some number. So do this now. Folks, if
Do
you're
this
listening
now.
to this,
Do
go.
this now. You
Go.
have to sign up for Coinbase, verify your identity as part of the normal Coinbase
Folks,
process.
if you
and then
do this,
you can get a cassette.
you get a
it's signed by
cassette.
you.
You'll never be able to use it again. Like, because no one has cassette.
Unless you win the NSX because it has a cassette player.
My Countach has a cassette player.
my M5 has a cassette player. So
And also the case will be autographed by Douglas DeMuro himself.
We got to talk about the SL65. Then we have to move on to the market report. We've gone way long already.
I know.
There
this
are
is
many
this is
questions.
insane.
We had too many news. We shouldn't talk about the EX60.
And you cut off news stories. I want to talk about the WRX, which is $3,000 cheaper today than it was yesterday. That's 10%.
Tell us about the SL65.
Yeah, so the SL65, like I said, got back from service. I recently uploaded a video on my YouTube channel, which is my name, Kennan Rolson. You can go check it out. But
That's two ends.
That's two. You know, someone
Three
asked
ends.
me. Someone asked me the other day. It's like, is
There's
it
4
3
ends.
ends or 4 ends? I'm like, what?
The spelling of Kennan and Filippo. No one has ever
Yeah, it's
spelled both Kennan
K-E
and Filippo. Correct.
KENNANROLSEN.
That's 4 ends.
Sometimes you're reading
on a row.
Sometimes you're
Hot-
reading the comments and they get Kennan right. And then they Felipe. Or they get Filippo
Felipe
right and Kennan is one N.
Kenan with an O.
Yeah, or with an N. Folks,
Or an I somehow.
folks, just go. You know what I learned as a person with a weird last name? Everybody who does that, their name is John Smith. every person who screws up your name, because they've never had to be thoughtful about how to spell a name in their life. It's sort of like
I'm sure Philippe and I are both really careful, make sure we spell people's first names correctly.
I am
very sensitive to it.
Yeah,
very sensitive.
I'm very unsensitive to it because at a certain point you become decent.
You have to give up.
You have to give up.
No,
you have to give up.
I care. I care about all the people. But anyway, so the SL65 is back. I've planned a series of videos I'm going to do on it because I decided that like it's not going to stick around all that long. I love the car, but we are going to sell it at some point.
Tragic. It's so fast.
It is so fast. But we're going to find out how fast. In an upcoming video I'm going to film next week, I'm going to do a dyno test of the car to see how much power it's making, which I think will be very interesting. See how accurate those Rentec numbers actually are. And then I'm also going to take it to a drag strip with Nick, which I think will be very interesting too. And we'll see. We'll see who
wins, the Germans or the British.
Does it bother you?
Or the Germans and the Germans.
Does it bother you that regardless of the dyno results and the drag strip results, that new Volvo we talked about earlier is faster and more powerful?
It's not more powerful.
I don't think it's more powerful.
Or faster.
I don't know what the torque figure is. We'll find out.
It's definitely faster.
580.
670
up
electric.
to 112. My car keeps going. In Mexico.
All right, we need to get one of these from Volvo. Volvo, if you're listening. All right.
But nonetheless, I've got some really cool things I still want to do with the car before it goes on to its next owner. So those will be coming up very soon.
He's going to sell the SL. Folks, if you want a good SL65, white over red, right?
Rentec
yeah, it's very rare. One of 8.
He's going to pull the Rentec.
I'm going to pull the ones off the side. I think I'm going to leave the one on the rear, though, where the AMG
People
badge
need
was.
to
It looks
know.
okay.
People need to know.
Or maybe they don't.
Oh.
You know, you just dust them.
I know, but
Speaking of Mercedes-Benz, I want to talk about the SLS. Can you pull up the SLS? We sold yesterday. I don't know. It's I don't know when you're watching this, so I can't tell you when it happened.
We also don't know what day it is right now. There's a lot of things not going.
You could be watching this 2 months from now. 2 months ago, we sold an SLS. Anyway, we sold this SLS for $160,500. Silver red, the right spec, the Hoovy spec. You know what I'm saying? And take a look at the mileage.
Sorry, Hoovy spec is in it has damage on the door from opening it and running into your house.
That's too soon, Filippo.
67,500 miles on this car.
Real.
That is over 100,000 kilometers. I think. That's pretty legit. You don't see these come up all that often. Nonetheless, it sold for $160,500. Presented very well. You're looking at the photos. It looks really nice.
Really nice.
Really clean car, inside and out. But it is interesting to see that even with big miles, these cars are still big valuable.
It makes sense. I mean, they're pretty stout cars.
They're stout.
The M158 is a great engine.
And apparently when you do the head bolt fix on other AMGs, you put in the head bolts that were on this car.
This one does not need them. It is a different engine. It's dry sumped, like it's not the M156, it's the M158. But yeah, they are, I mean, the Gullwing, it looks amazing. They drive really great. It has the same door clutch that's in the 458. It's modern car fast, and the doors go like this.
Yep.
So it kind of gives you everything. And I think it's it's reasonable these cars are valuable.
I agree.
Also, it's a Mercedes product in that the interior components will look plasticky because that was the era, but they will hold up.
Supercars from companies that make normal cars. That's my thing.
Well, that's supposed to be like a water bottle.
You know, the first SLS I ever drove, you know who was sitting next to me? Filippo.
That's right.
Is that true?
That is factually accurate. I remember it vividly.
Go back. You can watch the videos years ago. Filippo may have even been in it. We did a Bentley Mulsanne video that same day, and I think you were in that one.
I think you needed somebody to be like in the back seat or something. Yeah.
Filippo sat next to me in the first SLS I ever drove.
Good car.
What a piece of history.
I know, right?
I love it. I think these cars drive great. They are the steering and the handling is the steering is incredibly sharp for car 2012. The handling, the chassis is incredibly good for car 2012. It's shocking how good these cars drive. But of course you want the coupe.
I agree. And that engine is just, you just feel like you're strapped to a giant motor because you are. And it's just,
unlike a lot of the AMG cars, especially from this era, the car wasn't all engine. It was a really good overall experience. And I think the market is really waking up to that. If this had a manual, I think it'd be selling for 4 times what it sells for.
Totally, but you know, it's Mercedes-Benz that made a manual in a long time.
Of course, but you get my point. Like, it's such a good car in every other respect, the way it looks, the way it drives, how rare it is, how special it is. If that one thing was different, I think it would be absolutely killing it.
Yeah, totally.
Sort of like Filippo's 500 Abarth. I want to do one other market report. It is not the Mazda 5. We are not talking about that.
Please,
no.
Please. It's a one-owner 30,
and we're not going to devote time.
It's a manual minivan.
Talk to us about something. You got the STIRA.
Yes. So we recently, as I just made the point a little bit earlier, I think that there is more interest in modern enthusiast cars as other things seem to be reigning a little bit, at least with Ferraris. I think that's the canary in the coal mine in my view. This car, I think, is proof. So this is a WRX STI Type RA, sold for 40 grand and it had 13,000 miles on it, which is not nothing for one of these. So a lot of these cars are preserved and sit around. This one sold for more. Bring a Trailer sold on very similar mileage on their site not that long ago, and this one sold for more. And I just think it's indicative that these cars are like really beloved, and there aren't that many Subarus that like a rare Subaru is one that's rare because of it's not modified because it's low mileage and stuff. This one's actually special because they only built 500 of these things.
It's also really cool.
It's also very cool, but I think that interest is going to continue to grow in cars like this. I was trying to think about like what modern cars would I buy today if the market is going to go up on more modern stuff. I kind of think this is in that realm, to be honest with you.
It's interesting. We've sold other STI type RAs, and this is one of the highest results.
Yeah,
they have gone up.
Unmodified.
I think that's indicative of where things are going.
Okay, can you define? Oh, but they wanted the good North Carolina plate.
Unmodified, low miles, and look at the front plate. Have you ever seen a car in your life where the production number
is on?
Take that. That mini GP with the thing on the little side panels. No,
it's a Subaru Ambassador with a little heart. That's so cute. That's so sweet.
This was obviously a really clean Type RA. Obviously, the S209s bring even more money.
What's the difference between the S209 and the Type RA?
Okay, the S209 has canards.
Canards? Wait, that is a North Carolina plate, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Appalachian
one of the
Trail.
good ones, yeah.
Don't do this.
What is
the S209 had the intercooler water spray.
Okay, so like important things. That mean that it's worth double the price.
Brembos, Bilstein dampers, larger turbo, chassis bracing, but I think it didn't make that much more power. Anyway, the S209s were also super low production. All these cars are really cool. All the special edition of the STIs are really cool. I think this one is such a neat looking car.
The S209 had more power. Did you know that? 30 more horsepower.
Yeah.
A lot of Ferrari special editions kind of, this is kind of a weird point, but a lot of Ferrari special editions are, they're just, feels like a lot of them, McLaren is the biggest. They make so many special editions, it's really hard to keep them all straight. This is an actually very special car. And I suspect that like stuff that's like really serious like this among diehard enthusiasts will just like continue to go up.
Also, still a good car, and Subaru refuses to make a real STI, and there you go.
The S209 also had a carbon roof. Remember that?
Really?
Yeah. That was
I know somebody that replaced their roof with a carbon roof.
Oh, do you? Who?
It's a guy named Johnny. He's over there.
Okay, we need to move on to questions. The questions are brought to you by double column shifters. Double column shifters. If you're going fast, but you want to be going faster, use your second column shifter.
What is this, Fast and the Furious 5?
Find your second column shifter at your local AutoZone or whoever sponsors us.
Or, Photoshop through AI.
Are we not sponsored by some sort of auto parts giant? Folks, we got to get that going. Tim Hortons.
I'm sorry?
If we're not going to get sponsored by Auto Parts, we should at least get sponsored by Tim Hortons. You can drive your BYD Seal now to Tim Hortons. Okay, questions. First question from RHD for Life.
Don't know what to make of this. All right.
The Canadians in the comments will understand.
We love Tim Hortons.
I spent a lot of time in northern New York. There's Tim Hortons everywhere.
We need to, first question is from RHD for Life, which is odd because the question is, we need Filippo to rank all Prius generations. We used to do all the rankings and we haven't done in a while, but I think Prius is a good one to do. You want to do it right now with me?
Sure. We're calling the first generation the first one sold in the U.S. I want to be clear. Doug believes there's a prior one. There's not.
There are two Prius generations before the famous 04 Prius.
Right. No, but there's actually just one. We're calling that one. The 04 Prius is 2.
In Japan, there was a pre-first gen. Let's call it the Prius half gen. In Japan,
there was a facelift.
Pull it up.
Barely.
I want you to pull up 1997
also have like
Prius.
shaved door handles.
I want you to pull up 1997 Prius, and I want Filippo to understand.
No, I'm familiar. It was shown at an auto show, and nothing else changed.
It was that. That was the first Japanese generation of the Prius.
It's the same.
It predates,
Rory Gilmore drove that car.
The Rory Gilmore Prius. Okay, look, the point is,
the wheels are quite.
Regardless, this is the worst gen. We agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're ranking. This is last.
The second gen, the 04 gen, is number 1. It's the best gen.
Okay, all right. I want to discuss this because I was worried that would happen, and I want to discuss this. Filippo.
We've sold one.
Filippo.
I remember.
The current Prius
is number 2.
Is one of the great new cars on sale.
The current Prius is number 2.
Filippo.
The current Prius is number 2. This is okay. Have you've reviewed this car? Was innovative.
Changed the world.
It truly changed the world. There was an introduction of different type gear shifters. Like the first car to have that had a huge center screen in 04. had a huge center screen.
I mean, it did a lot.
It was efficient. It was the first real hybrid that people bought and cared about. They were everywhere. It was space efficient. It was spacious. They're reliable.
Honestly, the teardrop shape. Like
I know,
the Insight
it's
had it, but it was on like BS cars like that. The Prius, like
it is godly.
the second gen
Steering
Prius.
wheel controls for the HVAC system. Like
I know the second gen Prius, which this is will probably be looked back on as one of the top 5 most impactful cars of my lifetime.
I agree with that, and therefore it's number 1. Also, it's pretty good.
So it's not only number 1 for all those reasons, but even though the new Prius I think is a better car, even by relative to where it is in the world today, it's just not as relevant.
It's also not the new one's not that much more efficient than this one was. Like it's
a lot faster though, and the tech is a lot better, and the pricing is still decent, and now it's all-wheel drive, and it looks better. The new Prius makes a huge amount of leaps, but it is just not as relevant as this car was. This car changed the world. It showed us all that you didn't have to be some weirdo hippie lib driving an Insight to drive a Prius.
Right. You could be a movie star and drive this car.
No, you could be a taxi driver. You could be anybody. Anybody who just wanted to save money could go and buy one of these and live in it.
Everybody did.
Yeah.
This is number 1. Current generation is number 2.
Yeah.
The generation after this, which I think came out in
it was
9.
Yeah, right.
Is number 3.
10. Okay.
The first generation is number 4.
Oh wow!
And the last gen one,
what's wrong with that one?
It's just not good. Also,
What do you
they
mean?
had real reliability problems, oddly.
I'm gonna rank
And the
them.
Prius Prime of that generation was hideous.
I'm gonna rank them for you. Okay.
Hideous.
Here's the ranking. This is number 1.
2019 Prius Prime.
This is number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the new one.
Yeah.
Number 5 is the first gen. I don't really care about the betweens.
I stand by my ranking.
And honestly, the fact that the betweens were such a derivative of this further shows just how special this car was.
Look at the 2019 Prius Prime, please.
Yeah.
It's a bad vehicle.
Nah, it looks fine.
It's just if it just wasn't that good.
Nah, it looks fine.
It just wasn't that good.
I don't care about those generations, but they are all derivative. Wait a minute. What about the Prius C and the Prius V?
The Prius V, number 2, period. Prius C, number 17.
It is weird they got rid of the Prius V. Okay, next question from Dragon Wagon. Dear Doug, on the previous pod, you referred to your Sequoia as looking to January 6th. What would you say are the top 5 most Republican-looking cars?
Doug, what would you say are the top 5 most Republican cars?
I want to be clear about this. I don't mind a good Republican-looking car.
Yeah.
I just don't want to drive an extremist car. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to drive an iMiev either. I wouldn't want to drive a car that is so lib, it looks like you were there on whatever the lib equivalent of January 6th
Extremist?
is. What do you think?
Extremist is the word you're going for, but I want to.
You get my point. Like, what do you think?
The Hummer H2.
The Hummer H2 is one, although that's kind of getting into the hands of some connoisseurs at this point.
Hummer pickup, EV.
No, although there were a lot of those in the parking lot at Monster Jam. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Okay, you get my point, right? Like, I don't mind a good pickup truck. Like, I like a good pickup.
You don't think that's on there though?
But what I don't like is vehicles that are just so out there to the political affiliation that it's you know what I'm like the iMiev, like the first gen Prius. Honestly, like you drive around a first gen Prius, people are like, oh, coexist.
Right.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, his dad was part of a team that won a Nobel Prize for the environment, and he had a first gen Prius.
Okay, there you are.
I'm just going to say.
Shout out to Jonathan Patz.
Okay, so the most Republican-looking cars. I mean, look, TRX, Sequoia TRD Pro, Raptor, Tundra TRD Pro, Cybertruck, and the Mercedes E-Class station wagon.
In a different way.
Different kind of Republican. That's true.
But you can always be sure.
By the way, there was news you made me cut that the Raptor might soon have a V8 hybrid.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Is the Republican at that point?
Yeah. If it makes more power and sounds like my Sequoia does, it's Republican.
Was there any Raptor that isn't Republican?
Oh, interesting question. Well, the Ranger Raptor.
Oh, interesting.
A little less.
A little less. That's like that's a state representative, not a congressman yet.
The Sierra AEV that you reviewed.
Oh, deep Republican. Yeah,
that was up there.
That guy.
Every Ram.
Not every Ram. The eco diesel ones. There are libs who want to tow.
Not for selling more.
Do you think I'm going backwards a little bit? GMT 600, GMT 800 feel deep Republican to me. If you see them now, it's like I feel like.
Oh, I don't know.
The GMT 800? No. That is America's vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think any of the SUVs are that Republican except the Sequoia. Like even
once you had camo from the factory,
even the Z71 Tahoe, I don't think you can be sure. Like
That's what kind of why. Well, that red one that we had, that Z71 that you did a video on, that to me was like, that was
in that era. I think that was true. These days, only connoisseurs have one of those.
True.
The GMT 400 that you had?
The GMT 400 is a vehicle driven by only connoisseurs. If you're watching this and you have a GMT 400, you're a connoisseur. I don't care, by the way, if it's a Suburban, if it's a GMC Suburban, which was, like, if it's a Tahoe, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. If it's a truck, if it's a two-door, you're a connoisseur. You are a connoisseur. Okay. Anything else to say on the Republican topic?
No.
Did I miss any
we're
cars?
Good.
Did I miss any cars?
Yes. There's so many others.
You agree the E-Class wagon, like an old woman in Connecticut driving an E-Class wagon, is just as much a Republican as a guy with a TRX.
But it's not the
they
same
just
vibe.
Wouldn't talk.
It's not the same vibe. It doesn't fit the vibe.
They would both vote for the same dude, but they wouldn't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question from Hop Gunner. It's been about half a year since C&B, that's Cars and Bids, the finest auction site.
The only auction site.
There's not others. Started offering auctions for pre-1980 cars. How do you think it's going? Have you learned anything? You work in this business. How's it going?
It's going great. We have taken a very deliberate approach to it, right? We want to have cars that we think are cool and interesting, that we think our audience would appreciate. There's some reality to the fact that we're still learning more about them. Like every single day as we auction more and more and more of them, there's cars that we discover people are really into, and we discover that, okay, that was a good experiment that didn't quite resonate with the folks on Cars and Bids. But auctioned a good number of cars, have sold a good number of cars, continue to get kind of great submissions and great interest in them. Turns out that when you have a team that's incredibly good at knowing the market values of every car from 1981 to the present day, it takes a little bit of time to get really, really good at every other car from 1901 to 1980.
Like the Model T.
The Model T. But we love hosting them. We love the community that's kind of built up around them. And I'm excited to kind of keep growing that segment of Cars and Bids.
And we have gotten really good numbers for some really serious cars. And
including a Tribute.
Yeah, the GTO Tribute, the Pantera the other day did well. A lot of stuff does well.
We sold the last two Di Tomasos that we've hosted.
We did that 914 auction. I'm trying to do more old car videos too, because I know my audience wants to see it, and I've never been able to justify it financially until recently, now that we started offering them. And so we're trying to do a few more of them. I filmed that E-Type Filippo was talking about. I actually filmed a video that's coming soon.
We sold two Di Tomasos the same way.
Yeah.
And it's not the only one. There's another Di Tomaso. These are cool cars.
Mangusta, not a...
I think it's gone well.
But it's still...
You agree it's gone
Di
well?
Tomaso. Yeah, totally. Yeah. We sold a Mangusta and a Pantera in the same week.
Don't just brush that off. Mangustas are substantially more rare.
I said Di Tomaso. Deliberately, because I don't know anything else about them.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, this is a really special car.
Yeah.
Really special car. So beautiful. That rear three-quarter is so cool.
It is really cool. Sold on.
So I think it's gone well. I would say it's gone well. I was very resistant to it at first because I wanted to be the 80s and up auction site and all that, and everybody else in the business was like, come on, come on. And a lot of our sellers were actually really pushing us to do it. So finally I caved. I was like the last holdout. And finally when I caved, they did it. And I think it's gone reasonably well. It seems like people are into it. Sellers are into it. We've gotten a lot of cars. Buyers are into it. They're buying the cars. And it's been cool. And I've been able to review some stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise, like a Pantera, which I absolutely loved. 914, the E-Type. We got that crazy old BMW, which I'm not really so sure.
You're going to do an Alfa Romeo very soon?
Yeah.
The 700 Lexus was...
Next question from Josh Ito. Hey, Doug and friends. Recently you spoke about how much you dislike the Porsche guys who care more about the color of the car than the car itself. Does that not apply to you as well, since you would only consider your 911 Turbo to be arena red? I want to be really clear about this because a couple people asked this question, but I want to be really clear. I have always focused pretty heavily on making sure that the car that I bought was in the color, the physical color that I wanted. I always try to buy my cars in the press color, the one that was in the auto shows like this, the magazine pictures, the photos that were in the advertisements. Always. That was true before my 993. It was true of every car I've ever owned, honestly. It's always been in the color. Where it goes wrong is when you go well beyond that, which is what the Porsche people do. They get into all the little distances. I have a 340 window because I got on the underside. And I hate that stuff. And so I think getting the car in the right color is reasonable. Yeah. I think when you go into there's deviated stitching on my license plate bracket, that's where it gets embarrassing. And I think that's a pretty big distinction because a color is a big deal. The rest of the stuff is not a big deal. You agree with this?
Yep.
Is this right?
Yeah. Drive the cars.
Drive the cars. Get a cool color. Get a car you like. Get a cool color. Get a couple of options, whatever. But like, just then drive the car and stop focusing on, guys, I'm posting on Renlist. Guys, do you think, has anybody done painted clock handle dials? I want to see what the clock face looks like painted pink.
Cool specs are cool. Talking about it because it's the only differentiator is less cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. That's so true.
Right.
Like a cool spec is cool, objectively, and people will love to see it and talk about it. But if that's the only,
if
it's not about your experience with the car and why you're enjoying the car, and
if you're
what
owning
you do
it to flex on other people,
yeah,
it's
you should
like
never do
that's
that.
kind of lame.
Unless you are in a Rentec SL65, and then you can flex.
Like Jerry Seinfeld, it's cool because it's confident.
Kennan, what's your license plate?
It's the one he came up with, 65, not 55.
Oh, that's right. 65, not 55,
because
baby.
I prefer that speed limit.
Okay, I want to do another question that was related to last week's pod that I think we should all really, truly discuss from JB1016. Doug is trolling us VW fanboys, but I'm taking the bait. Doug, since you contend that the VR6 is just another V6, can you name a V6 with a single cylinder head? Okay, last week on the pod, I said that VR6 is purely marketing. It's just a V6, but they call it the VR6 to be cool. People are like, no, it has a single cylinder head. You don't understand. There's a lot of engines with a lot of interesting things, okay? When Porsche went from air-cooled to water-cooled, they didn't call it a flat water 6. They just kept calling it a flat 6, okay? It was a completely different way of doing things, but they didn't name it something different. Anybody who buys into this VR6 stuff because it's a single cylinder head, you're getting duped by marketing. Yes, it has an unusual characteristic, but a lot of engines have unusual or special things. And when the manufacturer tries to convince you that that makes it special, that's where you get duped. And by the way, getting 172 horsepower out of a 2.8 liter V6, that wasn't exactly rocket ship stuff, okay?
So you're saying that flat 12s, not something because it's a V.
All I'm saying is you look at the construction of the engine. VR6, is it 6 cylinders in a V? Oh, it's a V6. And the manufacturing call it whatever they want. And yes, there are some unusual things about it. Just like there's unusual things about a lot of engines. When they went from steel to aluminum, they didn't start calling them Vialu engines and try to get marketing. They just made it out of a different thing. And they didn't try to sell people on it. And anybody who's sitting over there going, no, the VR6 is superior. It gets 172 horsepower. No, it's as superior as deviated clock face handles or whatever I said.
As that like
something. It was.
All right. The next question's for Filippo.
Oh, great.
H-Town says, who do we thank for the beautiful cinematography on that NSX video and recent videos in general, talking about the Kennan videos? Now that the whole gang has gotten in on it with Doug's recent NSX night drive, I'd love to hear how that started and will there be more?
I think we should have our producer, Sean, who sits behind that desk, talk about it. But our entire team put in a ton of work and energy. A couple of our Nick and Sandin, who do a lot of the editing, Sean behind the scenes, and a bunch of other really talented folks who are part of it.
And will there be more?
It depends. Go watch it, then maybe.
Oh. Yes. I have a Jaguar XK140
also
video that's coming very shortly.
The answer fundamentally is yes. There's a great video that Ken did on another old Jag coming up next week. We're filming some other really incredible content month after month.
Sean's over here freaking out. He's like, you're going to say this? You're going to say the what? No. Now, I will tell you this about the night video at the NSX. I can shoot one of my...
on a camcorder. I bought a camcorder.
I can shoot one of my videos to, 4 hours, and it's great. Good stuff. Yeah. That night video of the NSX took 61 hours. Actually, I bet it took more than that if you add up the time of all of the people on stage, because it took them 2 nights.
Hours, if you will.
Hours. It probably took 180. And we got, how did we get out? We got 3 minutes. So anyway. My personal belief, I've watched Motor Trend do this. And my personal belief is I don't think that pencils out financially if you really get where I'm going with it.
But it's also really cool to push the envelope sometimes in fun ways, as with that video. And then also, Kennan did that phenomenal video with the 3.0 CSL that we then auctioned. Like there's really cool things that we can do because our team is incredibly talented. And is this something where every single video we put out week after is going to be that? No, because to Doug's point, that doesn't quite make sense. But sometimes it's really, really worth it. And it's fun to be more cinematic. And
it's fun to present these really special cars that we want to highlight for you guys as an audience because they are like some people either maybe they're not familiar with it or like the Vanquish they had or the Virage. Even I forgot about it just then. Like people just forget about those cars. It's important to help elevate those things, and it's fun. I mean, honestly, we all except for him, we all kind of like doing it. So it's also
fun. We're pretty fast at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only 320 man hours.
Well, that was
100 man hours per minute, folks.
The setup, I think we have a behind the scenes video of it, or at least some photos of it. Like the setup to capture the shots from the NSX was so cool. Like I love seeing.
What happened was
I love seeing people that are into cameras and cinematography like kind of nerd out over it and get to do what they think is fun.
What happened was I was driving around for a whole night with a rig attached to the NSX that had no license plate, probably.
The rig probably didn't have a plate. I do agree. The rig on it didn't need a standalone plate.
It probably should have. And if anybody at any point comes to you and says, you got any permits? Then what you say is, oh, God, no, we're just making a little YouTube video, sir. Oh, no. Oh, it's nothing. Don't mind the rig that took them 6 months to build before this video. Don't mind the rig they were up till 1 a.m. the previous night building. We're just making a little YouTube content for you there.
We had a camcorder that was like an old school camcorder that was filming you, and then there was a camera filming the camcorder.
There was a camera filming you.
It was cool.
I remember
it was cool.
It was ridiculous.
It was cool.
The whole thing was absurd.
Cool.
When we do this, you don't understand. Everybody wants cinematic content. When you do, there is no way to justify the existence of cinematic content. Now, I will tell you one little teaser. Pretty soon, that Audi A2 that I made Sean buy.
Yep.
And that.
Thank you for admitting it. Finally.
That Fiat that Filippo, God knows why he bought, still
3 years
hasn't run. It hasn't run in 2 months.
3 years ago.
We got some video coming up that's pretty well qualitied with those cars.
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen a thing. But I'm sure it's going to be great because Sean only makes good content. And if you want to tell Sean how you feel, you send me SEAN, Sean, at carsandbids.com. I want to get on to our last question here, which is from Ian J. Doug, I think I can solve your Sequoia problem. You need a Rivian R1S or an Armada 4X, Pro 4X. Folks, I don't have a Sequoia problem. I'm off cars. All right, that's it. You got anything?
Come say hi at Devontae.
Yeah, we've
come
already
say
done.
hi at
Kennan,
Peterson.
Fire it up. Check out the YouTube channel.
Wait,
some SL65 content.
I do want to say, go back to that NSX that we're auctioning. The NSX auction ends on Monday for the 320,000 mile NSX that we have live right now. I want to point something out. We worked with Coinbase to acquire this car. We have since also done an incredible $23,000 engine out service. So if you are looking for an NSX, based on the interior condition and the exterior condition and now the mechanical condition, it doesn't matter. The miles don't show on the interior of this car, and now they don't. Like the engine is incredible. Like,
you know what?
This is one vibe.
I agree.
And I'm a little sad that I just bought a car because otherwise I would.
You agree with this?
Well, as someone who has a 255,000 mile M5 that just looks like it has 55,000 miles on it.
We did. It was 23 grand that cost this engine out service.
That's
23.
I'm rounding, but
if you're. It was more than that?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. If you want a nice early NSX, this is the one you want. We did 23. So we got a new clutch, new belts, and we did it was like a rebuilt top end.
Head gaskets.
The entire invoice is in the gallery.
And we sent the people who did it were like the NSX people in Southern California. We sent it to like Orange County or something, right?
Yeah.
Folks, why aren't you buying this car? If you're sitting here watching this pot, is the car already done? The auction already over by the time? No. Why aren't you buying this car?
We did
I don't even know. Why am I trying to sell? I don't care if you buy it.
I don't either, but I want you to know, I want everybody watching to know that this is like, I find it so cool when a high mile car, like your M5, has been preserved and updated in such a way that it no longer reflects, it's like, the miles on the odometer have no actual impact on how it drives.
And that is definitely true. Because I drove it for the video before we did the service and it drove fine, but the clutch wasn't what I would want, and now it's like butter smooth perfect. And that was part of what we did.
So cool.
And at the time, we didn't know that it needed a top end rebuild, which honestly, it drove completely fine.
Yeah.
So think about that when you're buying somebody else's NSX that hasn't had a top end rebuild.
Go read through the auctions. Cool stuff.
It's really cool. I can't wait for this is not the first time an ultra high mileage one owner NSX has come through the site. Just happy for it to find a new home.
But
driving it.
I want to make we've sold a couple other really high mile ones.
200,000,
234,000 miles, 207,000 miles, 200,000 miles. This is 320.
They can, it's another 100K.
Windmill dunk.
It's crazy.
But it's like when you say the temperature. There's somebody else somewhere else. Oh, I've got one with 430,000 miles. I never had to rebuild the top end. There's always
the first owner of the car, because
colder somewhere else.
Emailing back and forth with him just to kind of keep him updated on.
Really?
on
You've
it.
been talking to the guy who owned it?
Yeah. He was very displeased that it needed top end because all of the information that he had from his shops was that like it was perfectly fine. He'd done a compression test and he was like,
well, I wonder.
Like actively upset about it.
But the compression was okay, wasn't it? My guess is it probably just based on how it drove and how it sounded, we probably could have gone a while before it needed it.
I know, but it's nice to have it done.
We're auctioning this car. We want to make it nice.
Yeah.
And we don't. We're not even advertising the cobblestone floor mats, which honestly we could throw in. Okay, that's the end of the pod.
That's the end of the pod.
Honestly, one of the best pods we've ever done, except that it got a little off the rails a lot of the time, and I'm sorry for that. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.